What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today's video, I have something pretty fun that we're gonna be doing to the S2000. So we're gonna be putting on a chassis mounted front splitter that you can probably see right there. And what chassis mount means is you'll often see a lot of people put a front splitter, lower valence, front lip. People call it a bunch of different things, but they'll put one on, but it'll kind of just sit on the bottom of the bumper and almost be more or less for aesthetics, just for looks. This one's actually going to be functional. It has bracketry that's connecting to the frame. So as much downforce as this thing is going to want, this thing is going to provide, and it's going to push down on the front end, give us a bit more traction for the track, road course on the front end. And then we're also going to be complementing that with a wing. Along with that stuff, we'll talk about it later, but we're also going to be having to do some stiffer suspension for the added downforce, but we'll get into all that later. For now, let me show you what front splitter we're putting on, all the stuff we got to do, and we'll get the car up in the air and get started. All right, so if you're stopping into the channel for the first time, this is the car, the Honda S2000 that formerly fell off the lift, formerly Supercar Suspect's car. We rebuilt it, we plastic dipped it, did a bunch of stuff. It looks pretty crazy right now. Here's the front splitter. It is, in fact, so they call it like a composite or whatnot, but it's essentially plywood. And, you know, I wasn't too sure about the plywood at first, but it's going to give it a ton of rigidity at an economical cost. And it has a layer of, I think they call it composite, but it has a layer of plastic essentially on each side. So we don't have to worry about weathering. There's also a strip that's going to go across the front. What I'm still debating is there's a texture side on this and gloss on that side. I don't know which one I want to put up or down. You can flip it either way, but I kind of have to decide sooner or later because the moment it scratches off the ground, one surface is going to be pretty well done. They also have these side plates that are going to go on too. So we have that and a bunch of hardware over here. So these are all the bracketry. Again, this is going to connect to the frame, and this is what's going to hold that splitter on. So it's not going to be mounting to like the plastic bumper on the bottom. It's actually going to be mounting to the frame, and then it's going to be sitting underneath, and you can adjust it, you know, further forward, back, all that good stuff. You can also adjust it up and down. So you can adjust it up and down and front to back. So, and then this is also that piece that goes on the front there that's gonna tie it all in together. We'll get into all the bracketry shortly. We also have a bunch of stainless steel hardware, some cool stickers if we want to put those on the side of those end plates there. But let's get the car on the lift. We'll get it up. We have to pull the front bumper off so we can access the frame. Let's get it done. Okay, car is up. We do at some point have to assess the damage on this because it was eating at this fender last time I went to the track. A couple things. Probably have to do some trimming, and these wheels are a pretty aggressive stance, but it didn't chew the other side, only this side, so it's going to be a combination of probably putting in some stiffer springs and assessing that, but that's another video. What we do have to do is remove the Phillips screws that are holding the front bumper on. There's one there. And then these 10 mils across the top. Since we don't have any under shields, this thing's just gonna pop off. So let me just cut through the chase, pop this bumper off, and we'll get to the fun stuff. So these are the two brackets that they give us, but one thing to mention, there is a bunch of adjustability. Like I said, we can move it forward or backwards, but really this one goes on the frame. And I'm really not gonna know how far forward or behind to put this bracket until I actually have the splitter up and mounted, because this is gonna go here into this bracketry, but I don't know where the heck to put it right now. So I think what makes sense is rather than follow those instructions, we're gonna mount all the hardware on that splitter so that it's ready to go. The brackets are there. I can try to gauge where to put it, and then I can finally decide where I wanna mount it to my frame, because that's where the front to back option is. So let's go ahead and just put everything on that splitter, all the hardware, and go from there. All right, so we just got our hardware here. I'm gonna go ahead and put these bolts up from the bottom and put our bracketry in. Really not much to talk about here, although I am gonna put a dab once I get this on of Loctite. The hardware supply doesn't have lock nuts, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some Loctite on this stuff just to keep it all in place. So we'll put our second bolt in. And this, and I'm just gonna use some blue Loctite just so I can move it around. So nothing crazy. Do the same the other side. I think I'll leave it loose for now. We'll tighten everything finally once it's done, but at least this will give us a rough idea of where it's gonna be. So they have these two little plates, and what we're gonna do is take a longer bolt. If I can get out of the bag, we're gonna take a washer. And this is gonna get inserted into the frame. So this thing here is gonna fit up into these holes, like so. I believe that's the idea. Maybe it's not that one. I think it's gonna be the next one. So it's gonna be these larger holes, and that's where the two, yeah, so that plate's gonna go there. That's what it is. If I can get this bolt out of here. I'm gonna have to play this bit of a game. Oh, there she goes. So that's gonna go in there. We're gonna put the bolt through, and those two are gonna allow us to put that in there, and then we're gonna have to see where our alignment is. Boom. Okay, so we're gonna do the same on the other side. Drop that plate in there, get the two bolts in. Probably the hardest part, honestly, and we'll continue. All right, next up, I'm gonna mount these plates to these plates so that we can gauge where we're supposed to be. And it consists of 3 bolts on each side. So 3 here, 3 here. So a total of 6 each side for each plate. So quite a bit of hardware here, but there's gonna be 3 bolts in each side. I'm assuming we'll be able to keep all 3 depending on how high or low we go. Should be able to, but we'll find out in just a minute. Let me get all that hardware on there and we'll go to the next step. And just a little tip for you guys in case you start going crazy like I was, is you'll notice the bracket. You would think that this L bracket would go on this side, but you'll notice this notch here where it's supposed to tuck inside. So even though there's these reinforcements, they do tuck inside. It's not supposed to be like this. This is why I was having a tough time, because I was putting each L bracket like that. And the holes that were drilled on the splitter right here were completely off, and I was going crazy. So you have to make sure that they tuck into each other. So you're gonna wanna form it like this, and then you'll be all set. So let me get this one unbolted and done the way that that should be, so we can line everything up. Now that we have our brackets situated correctly, you can see we're lined up there. We're lined up here, so I can go ahead and attach these 4 bolts. We'll just test fit it and let it hang, and then we can go ahead, try the bumper, and see where we're at. Okay, so here's our first test fit. I think I kind of want to just come back 1 little notch if possible, just so that it lines up with the very back here, because we're kind of just sitting in a little bit. I guess it doesn't matter too much, but that's what we got going on here. So it's just ever so slightly in front of this. So I think I'm probably going to just kick it back just 1 notch so that at least it's flush with the back of here. And I think we should call it good. So let me pop this bumper back off real quick, and then we'll adjust it again. All right, there's the fitment I was looking for, you guys. I wanted that to line up in the back. You'll have to disregard this front lip and how this looks all bent. This is some aftermarket knockoff OEM lip, so it kind of fits a little bit funny around here. That's why it looks all contorted, but it's not a perfect fit. But at least now the splitter ends at the, I guess, back of the bumper, we'll call it. Same thing on the other side, and we still have quite a bit around the fronts everywhere. So it's looking pretty good. Again, same thing, disregard this because that's just a wonky front lip, but it does end at the back of the bumper. So we're lined up good now. I'm gonna pop this back off, tighten the bolts, and then we can add the extra bracketry now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything with blue Loctite, some wrenches, tighten all that, won't bore you with that stuff too much, and then we still have some bracketry here that we have to put on too. I'm just experimenting right now with this. So they're suggesting to put this bracket, which is about 1/8 of an inch, or just maybe a little bit more, but they're suggesting to put it between this and there. And when you do that, it bumps this out enough that your bumper doesn't sit flush anymore. So not the best design there. So what I'm gonna do is, I think what I'm gonna do is take these washers, put them in here, because you'll see there's this lip here. So I'm gonna build up some washers so that I can put this bracket on the front and then put the bolt through. So that's my new plan, because doing this way isn't a good way. It's rotating this bracket and it's pushing the bumper out. So I'm gonna use some of these washers in this little channel, build it up, and then put this bracket on that side. All right, so there's the 3 washers. Here's a washer on the front. I'm gonna put it like this. And then I'm gonna insert it into here. That way I don't mess up my bumper alignment. There we go. So that's what I would rather do. I haven't seen this on the instructional video, but this is the way I would recommend. Also, theirs was the other way, flip this way, but I found this fit better than the video that I watched. So anyways, let's go on to the other side. So this is what you're gonna see on the other side, the factory stuff. This bolt, you're gonna remove that, 3 washers, put the bracket on, line it up to this hole. Okay, let's get it done. So I was just getting the trim around this piece here. I got most of it around. I was debating whether to put it inside of here on these end plates here, but I ended up putting it in there anyways. So that's what we got there on that side. I'm gonna continue to follow it around. This trim just slides over the edge and you just put it on. You can just push it on with your hand. So I'm gonna continue that and we'll keep going. So everything's tight, everything's on. We got our trim all finished up. So let's go ahead and put this thing on and see what the finished product looks like. Oh, I gotta push that on too. So it's all done and installed, and this thing is strong, you guys. Like, I'll show you guys in a second, but this is what it looks like with the end plates. If we straighten out the wheel here, I can do it with my foot or my arm. There we go. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the ground. But before I do that, let me show you just how strong this is. So I can put my full body weight, 180 pounds, on it, and she holds. So definitely solid. And here's what it looks like out in the wild. I just finished giving it a bath. So it's still wet, I gotta pull it in. But that's it, you guys. That is this huge chassis mounted front splitter on the car. Wing for the downforce in the back, coming next. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know what you guys think of that chassis mounted front splitter. I don't know, let me know your thoughts. I'd be curious to know. We'll find out if it's gonna work effectively on the track soon enough. But anyways, you guys, thanks again. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.